How can we make the world more free? I'm worried that the world is getting less free, more authoritarian. Do you have any ideas?
Well, there are cycles of economic developments in the world.
But not just economic, but democratic.
This is causing people in some parts of the world with less hope, some parts of the world becoming more radical. And I think we must work together, first of all, to find better solutions to the economic problems in order to solve the geopolitical difficulties. Otherwise, when you have so many poor people hungry, without water, they can easily become refugees or terrorists.
Hi, it's nice to see you here. Are you enjoying the World Economic Forum?
Of course, always.
Which is more powerful, the United Nations or the World Economic Forum?
Well, these are two different baskets. I can't say the United Nations is less powerful than the World Economic Forum.
Who is richer, the World Economic Forum or the United Nations?
Well, UN is here also. I mean, UN is contributing to the World Economic Forum.
It's a partnership, isn't it?
Of course it is.
Here's a question for you. Can I ask you a tough question? Which is more democratic, the UN or the World Economic Forum?
Well, UN, I was the President of the General Assembly.
I know.
It's I think the largest democratic platform in the world where every country is represented. World Economic Forum is, of course, in its capacity for many years, is also showing this democratic and giving space to every country in the world standards. And I think we shouldn't compare the two. They are helping each other, and this combination is helping the world peace and stability.
Can I challenge you on that? Because in the last few years, we've seen more war and more death and more terrorism, and there's terrible instability.
Yeah.
Has the United Nations been helpful or harmful or useless?
Well, unfortunately, the structure of the United Nations, because of the veto powers in the Security Council, is not allowing the United Nations to be a problem-solving mechanism. It has in education, humanitarian aid, a lot of very good health, all these institutions adjacent to the UN is doing wonderful work, 200,000 people there. But when it comes to politics, the Security Council is blocking all the possible peace solutions. So the danger here is if we can't solve the Security Council problem, then countries individually are trying to find solutions to their regional or political problems. And this is the danger.
There's a paradox of what you said, though, because most of the countries that have a vote at the United Nations do not give their own citizens a vote, right?
Yeah, but veto power, I mean...
I hear what you're saying, but, you know, should a small dictatorship be able to cast a vote to negate a giant democracy, one country versus one country, when the little country doesn't allow its own voters to vote?
Well, that is the structure after the Second World War, so so perhaps it has to be reformed. But we don't have a luxury to replace the United Nations. But this is the structure. Realistically, we have to reform it. We have to find better solutions. We have to give more power to the General Assembly, because that is a democratic platform you have mentioned. So what we have done is, if a country vetoes in the Security Council, General Assembly can ask that country to come to the General Assembly, explain why they are vetoing. Even that is an important step forward.
Let me ask you one last question. I'm very grateful for your time, and I know you're a busy man. How can we make the world more free? I'm worried that the world is getting less free, more authoritarian. Do you have any ideas?
Well, there are cycles of economic developments in the world.
But not just economic, but democratic.
This is causing people in some parts of the world with less hope, some parts of the world becoming more radical. And I think we must work together, first of all, to find better solutions to the economic problems in order to solve the geopolitical difficulties. Otherwise, when you have so many poor people hungry, without water, they can easily become refugees or terrorists.
But the world has never been richer. There's never been more food produced. Francis Fukuyama talked about the end of history. He suggested we're beyond those problems and things are much worse. I would challenge you when you say the roots of the problem are poverty. I'm not saying that doesn't make it worse, but I think the world has never been richer.
The distribution is not good. You have 7% of the world with richness and 93% of the world with poorness. Even when the COVID pandemic.
Do you have any thoughts on? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Even the vaccines were distributed in the same proportion.
Right. Are you able to give a comment on politics in Turkey?
Well, I'm now in the business sector, so okay. I'm out of politics.
Fair enough.
I'm on the streets of Davos, that's high in the Swiss Alps, for the annual meeting of the World Economic Forum. We're not invited. We tried to get accredited. They said no. Fine. We'll do our citizen journalism on the streets. To see all our videos or to chip into our crowdfunding to help get us here, go to WEFreports.com.